So, look at that. What a way to be introduced to the world. This is the Lotus Eletre.
It sure is. And who better to have driven it onto the stage but Lotus superfan Jenson Button. Come on, Jenson, out you come. We can't get around now.
No. Was that nerve-wracking?
Yes, very. I've driven a lot of things in my life, but that was very nerve-wracking.
Jenson, obviously not the biggest of drives, but you have sat inside it now. We can see how it looks outside. What's it like inside?
It's lovely. I mean, you know, for me, I love my sports cars, and it definitely still has that sporty feel. But it's also got luxury that you haven't seen with a Lotus before. So, no, very, very plush. Feels very nice in there.
Yeah, what does it make you feel like when you sit in it?
That's the thing. For me, I always look at the outside of a car and think, well, that's beautiful, or that's not, but this one is beautiful. But for me, it's when you get inside that's where sort of the magic is. It's feeling like you're in a cockpit, it surrounds you, and you feel very at home. You do in here. You're gonna
write one off now?
Yep, let's go.
Just write it up. Has anyone got the sheet? All right, OK.
He loves it.
All right, so to tell us more about the design of the first ever hyper SUV, let's hear more from design chief Peter Horbury and the man who brought this car to life, head of Lotus Tech Creative Centre, Ben Payne.
Lotus has been famous for its mid-engine sports cars for many years now. And that layout always gives us a beautifully balanced proportion. The upper part of the car sits perfectly between the wheels. The proportion is very beautiful. Every Lotus has been about adding lightness. And of course, really clever aerodynamics. The way that the air is taken through the car, not just over it, creates beautiful shapes. We've used all of these design principles, plus the fact that we don't have a traditional internal combustion engine, means it is unique. With Eletre, we've created the first Lotus SUV.
Designing the Eletre was really a journey of applying hypercar principles to an SUV. The cabin on the car is set forward to really give you a strong sense of the mid-engine proportion that everyone recognises Lotus for, and it gives you a really strong indication that this is an EV. The sculpture of the car is really dominated by the bold, muscular fenders over the wheels that emphasise the power. The vehicle has a really planted stance. We've managed to achieve this by elongating the wheelbase and creating the effect of very, very short overhangs. We have one dynamic line that flows all the way from the sharp line at the front through the side of the car, culminating with a light blade at the rear of the car. The sculpture of the car is really defined by the idea of it being carved by air. It's very much where we've reduced material from the body, and it's visually sculpted away by the airflow moving around the car. The interior represents a bold, fresh statement for Lotus. It's a combination of performance meeting up with technical artistry to give us something unique. Dynamic lines divide the interior space, and they give us this really strong sense of precision and technology. The whole cabin has a very spacious, light, airy feeling, allowing you to really enjoy the drive. The ultra-thin wing profiles define the interior theme, and beneath that there's a ribbon of technology that runs across the car. The interior is driver-focused, and we are demonstrating our belief and conviction in the role of technology to truly make it a Lotus. Progressive, fully electric, a fantastic lifestyle product.
And Ben joins me now. So, Ben, this must have been, you know, a pretty long journey to get to this point. How long have you been working on the Eletre?
Well, we've been working on this car for just over 3 years now, and it's a huge moment for the entire team that have developed this product for us to be here today and present the car to the world. So it's a really proud moment for a lot of us.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, what are you most proud about on this car? Because obviously, you know, there's lots of different things you can pick, but what's your one?
There are a lot. Can I give you two?
OK.
So I think the first thing for me is to take the sort of front end of the car. This really embodies what we're talking about when we say we've taken hypercar principles and design themes and applied them to an SUV. And I think this is super successful at giving us something new in the marketplace. So an amazing combination of super technical detail and the expression of technology in the headlamps, the clear aerodynamic functionality of these bypass ducts that run through the front of the car, all brought together in a really artistic way. So that's the first thing for me. Really amazing expression in the front end. And the second thing I think is really going to stand out to people is the interior. This really is a big step forward for Lotus, and I think it's something unique in the marketplace today. That interior is really going to be something special, and it's a statement of our intent as Lotus moves forward as a premium performance brand.
It's quite exquisite. If you have a chance to put your nose in through the window, I suggest you do. So what do you think the customers are going to most fall in love with? What do you think they're most excited about?
I think for a customer, there's so much about this car that they can kind of absorb, and it's going to take some time to get to know the product. There are all kinds of features and aspects of the product which are really rich in their detail. So I think this builds a certain sense of excitement. The car is visually very exciting to look at first read, the exterior. When it comes to the interior, there's a kind of layering of technology and detailing there that gives a real richness to the product. And I think this all comes together with the really immersive digital experience that the car also has to create an amazing sense of excitement. So I think customers are going to be really drawn to this car, and it's going to be something that's really a wonderful thing to own.
Well, I mean, now that this car is revealed, is it sort of like you're allowed a couple beers and then you've got to get back to the drawing board? Like, what happens?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've given an hour off this evening to come down and present the car to you guys, and then it will be back to the drawing board. But it's an interesting question, actually, because the honest truth is we've been open already about saying this is the first of 4 fully electrified products which are going to come from Lotus in the next 5 years. So this one we're presenting to you today, but as a designer, I kind of have this strange sense where I actually have to live partly in the future. So the next electrified Lotus lifestyle product, which is going to be coming fairly soon, we've almost finished that design already, if I'm honest.
Ooh. So after a few beers later, we can maybe get some more info from you?
No, maybe not. I mean, I think it's strictly highly confidential at this point in time. But the design is almost there. We're really proud of that car as well. And perhaps if we have another conversation around 12 months' time, we'll be looking at something different. But today, it's all about Eletre.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, you know, huge congratulations. It's stunning. And let's give him a big round of applause. Ben Payne, everyone.
Thank you.
We've heard a lot about carved by air tonight. Indeed, our entire show is called Eletre, carved by air. We've even shown you a special performance to bring it to life. Now we've revealed the car, we thought we'd take you in it, around it, and through it to understand exactly what carved by air actually does. Let's take a look.
We started the journey of carved by air design philosophy with Evija. Carved by air, or porosity, is a method by which we can reduce drag and increase downforce. With Emira, we brought the carved by air concept to a much more affordable vehicle. And now it's the turn for Eletre.
Eletre brings the theory of carved by air to a new level through visual lightweighting and also embracing the concept of porosity. Rather than just pushing the air up, over and around the car, Eletre is designed to be completely porous. It allows air to pass into the bodywork, channeling it to improve performance. The sharp nose section at the front of the car divides the air. The bypass ducts beneath channel that air back up onto the top of the hood. A powerful air curtain located beneath the headlamps channels air through the car, exiting into the wheel arch, further reducing the drag. An extraction vent behind the front wheel draws air out of the wheelhouse and carves a path down the side of the car. The sculpture's reflected at the rear of the car, where we have, again, a large extraction duct which draws air out of the wheelhouse. A duct through the D-pillar helps control the wake. The winglets on the roof help keep the air attached all the way down the rear screen. This generates all of the power in the active rear spoiler, which helps us to dynamically balance drag and downforce. We also use air for cooling. The grille shutter on the front of the car opens and closes dynamically depending on the requirement to cool the drivetrain and the battery pack or to reduce drag. The philosophy of Carved by Air allows us to visually reduce weight, optimize performance, and gives Eletre stunning design features.
Well, I will see your one Eletre in the studio and raise you two Eletras out here in the cold with Russell Carr. Russell, we've talked about the role Carved by Air has played in the design of these cars, and Ben obviously has just shared with us what it does to the airflow. But let's talk about performance. How does it actually impact the performance?
There are a myriad of performance gains, but you really need an aerodynamicist to explain it in full detail. But in sort of simple terms, terms that I understand, it's about reducing the resistance to the air, allowing the car to move forward freely. Our aerodynamicist described it to me once. He said it's like a butterfly net going through the air rather than a parachute. And obviously by reducing the resistance, reducing drag, it allows you to go further and it allows you to go faster, which is good.
So well explained, even I understood that, Russell. I appreciate that. Now we can see them all lined up next to each other. Here is the full family of the cars. Let's just talk about the similarity between all three, because you obviously have a finer eye at pointing it out than I do.
Well, first of all, it's the perfect three-car garage, isn't it? So we encourage people to buy all three. But the similarity, repeating what my colleagues have already said, is starts with proportion. They're all cab forward. They all take that mid-engined aesthetic and apply them to SUVs and sports cars. They've all got muscular haunches that really plant the car to the road, give the car a sense of real power. There's a mixture of beautiful, soft, sculptured surfaces with crisp lines that give the car speed, and that starts at the nose of the vehicle that really looks like it's cutting through the air. And then, of course, there are all these Carved by Air features, the various ducts and vents and tunnels that run through the car that draw your eye around the vehicle, and you know that they're giving you real performance gains, that it's designed for a function, form and function working together.
I love it. Russell, you seem so proud of these cars, and rightly so. We have three Carved by Air cars. Is that enough?
It's never enough, is it? And as Ben's explained, we have already announced there are 3 more cars to come. We as a team will be working to take Carved by Air forward into the future, interpreting it in new ways, improving performance and giving more memorable designs.
Fantastic. Russell, thank you. You can go and relax now. Wonderful. The car looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? I've never been a fan of yellow cars before, but somehow this just pops. I love it. I'm sure it performs brilliantly, but what else does it do? Well, it turns out there's a lot of technology hidden under the skin.
What we have tried to achieve from the ground up is to design and use the technologies that will give the maximum experience for the customer. It starts with an unforgettable welcome. Eletre greets you when you approach and then prepares you for the journey you're trying to take. With LiDAR being part of the intelligent driving system for Lotus Autonomous Driving, we have integrated the LiDAR units inside the roof and also in the fenders. The daytime running lights are super thin design, adding to the lightweight philosophy of Lotus. The other lighting functions are almost hidden behind the surface. The taillight is of a very thin blade design. It not only shows the function while it's driving, it also gives the information while the battery is in the state of charge. The use of commutative lighting continues inside the cabin. The single-blade taillight design is mirrored to provide and to be a part of the driver interface. The super slim display allows for the reduction in the cabin and also demonstrates high technology. It is a digital experience for both driver and the passenger. The asymmetrical technical interface located in the tunnel of the vehicle provides a swift access for the driver for the controls. The combination of all these technologies creates a last impression for the driver and the user of the car.
So, 4 years ago, you know, when you launched the Vision 80, did you ever kind of imagine you'd be here now at this sort of moment in time?
Well, actually, I did, because I helped write the strategy. So right. we knew we were going to be here. But I have to say, the effort that's gone in and the hard work that's gone in for everybody at Lotus across the globe to get us to this point and delivering on time is the important thing.
Very much so. And obviously, Jenson, you know, you live in America. Kind of, what's the perception of Lotus over in the States?
A lot of love. I've got an Evora GT at the moment, and I get a lot of love. Yeah, they're going to go mad for this. They really are. And what I really love about it is you can tell they're all from the same family. You know, the Eletre, the Emira and the Evaya. If you took the badge off, you would know they're all a Lotus. And then, you know, when they're in your like very nice wide garage and they're all next to each other, that pleases you. Well, I'm sure my wife will be out in one of them. It's probably this one more. I've got kids now, I'm a family man. So, yeah, it's perfect for the kids in the back. I mean, obviously now, you know, it's a British company that's, you know, going global and it's got this kind of global appeal. You must be proud of that achievement.
Yeah, I think you've seen through all the contributions tonight. We are one team, we're a global team, and we need to be to take on this challenge that we've got in front of us. But it's very exciting and we all work very closely together.